Charlie Chaplin, Iron Man et Sherlock Holmes ne sont que quelques personnages qu'il a incarnés.
Let me tell you how it's going to start. I should have stopped a minute ago.
C'est l'un des acteurs les mieux payés d'Hollywood et il n'a pas sa langue dans sa poche.
Oh, I don't need any love tips. I'm an American. Come on, I am romance. Okay?
Robert Downey Jr. est une célébrité mondiale qui ne fait pas contre mauvaise fortune bon cœur. C'est de l'or pur hollywoodien.
I understand how you would feel that way. I understand. It's only natural. It's only natural.
Robert Downey Jr. est né à New York le 4 avril 1965, fils de Robert Downey Sr., acteur, scénariste, producteur, caméraman et réalisateur de films d'avant-garde, et d'Elsie, une actrice dans les films de Downey Sr.
Robert Downey Jr. was born April 4th, 1965 in New York, New York. His mother, Elise, was an actress, and his father, Robert Downey Sr., was a filmmaker. He made kind of underground, arty movies. And actually, when Robert was a little boy, he appeared in a number of his father's films.
Pendant son enfance, Robert Downey Jr. a eu des rôles mineurs dans les films de son père. Il a commencé à 5 ans dans un rôle de chiot malade dans Pound, une comédie absurde. À 7 ans, il est apparu dans Greaser Palace. À 10 ans, Robert Downey Jr. a déménagé en Angleterre, où il a étudié le ballet au sein d'un cursus plus varié. Plus tard, à l'adolescence, il a fréquenté le Stage Door Manor Performing Arts Training Center dans le nord de l'État de New York. Ses parents ont divorcé en 1978 et il a déménagé en Californie avec son père. Mais en 1982, il a quitté le lycée de Santa Monica et est revenu à New York pour faire carrière dans la comédie.
Robert went to high school in Santa Monica, California, but he left before graduation to move to New York to pursue his acting career. And while he was in New York, he struggled and did some odd jobs. He sold shoes for a while, he bussed tables in a restaurant, and his weirdest job was actually being a piece of live performing art in the Soho Club area.
Lorsqu'il a déménagé à New York en 1983, il a participé à la comédie musicale d'Off-Broadway, American Passion, produite par Norman Lear.
In the 1983 movie, Baby It's You, Robert learned a lesson that all actors learn when they're starting out, that what you shoot on the set doesn't always make it in the movie. When the movie premiered, he invited a bunch of his friends to the theater to watch it with him, only to discover that he had been almost entirely cut out of the movie. He only appeared one time. And after the movie was over, one of his friends joked that maybe it should have been called Maybe It's You. Robert met the actress Sarah Jessica Parker when they were co-starring in the movie Firstborn, and they actually lived together for 7 years. But ultimately, his drug abuse would end up breaking up the relationship. In 1985, Robert co-starred with the supermodel Kelly LeBrock in the comedy Weird Science. Well, apparently, Kelly didn't get along with very many people on the set. And at one day, somebody discovered that someone had defecated in Kelly's trailer. And Robert denied and denied and denied that it was him. Well, years later, he admitted that it was in fact him.
En 1985, il a fait partie de la distribution rajeunie du Saturday Night Live. Mais après un an de mauvaises audiences et critiques de cette distribution, la majorité de l'équipe et lui ont été remplacés.
Robert joined the cast of Saturday Night Live. It was a very exciting time. He was there with his friend Anthony Michael Hall, but it ended up being really challenging for him. At the same time, he was shooting the movie Back to School in Los Angeles, so he would be flying back and forth from LA to New York. He actually joked later that the opening tagline for Saturday Night Live should have been, "Live from New York, a tired young man."
Sa première percée a eu lieu en 1985 avec Quartier Chaud, un drame où il donnait la réplique à James Spader et Kim Richards. En 1987, il a obtenu son premier rôle dans Le Dragueur, une comédie romantique avec Molly Ringwald. Toujours en 1987, Robert Downey Jr. a incarné Julian Wales, un riche toxicomane dont la vie bascule dans Neige sur Beverly Hills, la version filmée du roman Moins que zéro de Bret Easton Ellis. Ça a touché une corde sensible chez lui, car il a grandi avec des drogues à la maison.
One of Robert's first iconic roles was in the movie Less Than Zero. He played a drug-addicted rich kid named Julian whose life spins out of control. Audiences and critics loved him, but Robert said it's painful to look back at that movie. He described it as looking at the ghost of Christmas future because ultimately he would go down the same path that Julian went down.
Il a ensuite joué avec son ancien colocataire, Kiefer Sutherland, dans 1969, sorti en 1987, où il collaborait aussi avec Winona Ryder.
When Robert first decided to move from New York to Hollywood and give acting out here a try, one of his roommates was Kiefer Sutherland, and they actually ended up making a movie together in the late 80s called 1969.
En 1989, il est revenu aux comédies romantiques avec Le ciel s'est trompé, un film avec Sybil Shepherd et Ryan O'Neal. Il a joué avec Mel Gibson dans la comédie de 1990 Air America. Cela marquerait le début d'une longue amitié entre Downey et Gibson.
Robert said he made the movie Air America for two reasons. He wanted to make a bunch of money and he wanted to be in a movie with Mel Gibson. He also thought that being in something with commercial appeal would vault him onto the A-list. Well, it didn't quite work out that way, but his friendship with Mel Gibson was built to last.
En 1991, il a joué avec Sally Field, Kevin Kline et Whoopi Goldberg dans La télé lave plus propre. Le 29 mai 1992, il a épousé l'actrice et chanteuse Deborah Falconer, qu'il connaissait depuis 42 jours.
Yeah, this is our boy-to-be. Hola.
L'année suivante, le couple a un fils, Indio Falconer Downey.
In 1992, Robert married his first wife, actress and singer Deborah Falconer, and they had only been dating for 42 days before they got married. They had one son together, Indio, but ultimately the marriage wouldn't last, and their divorce would be finalized in 2004.
Toujours en 1992, il a joué l'un des rôles pour lesquels il est le plus connu. Richard Attenborough l'a choisi en Charlie Chaplin pour la biographie Chaplin. Il s'est si bien préparé pour le rôle qu'il a même appris à jouer au tennis et du violon de la main gauche.
To be able to play, the first world famous man, and let alone the first world famous man, but he's like not a slouch, he's like a really talented and creative guy.
Robert described the experience of playing Charlie Chaplin in the movie Chaplin as winning the lottery and then going to prison, because he wanted the part desperately, but it wasn't until after he landed it that he realized how hard it would be. He had to learn to do so many things like Chaplin. He had to learn to play tennis with his other hand. He had to learn to play the violin. He had to learn to do all the acrobatic physical stunts. And it was one of the most taxing times in his career, but it paid off because he got a Best Actor nomination at the Academy Awards. After shooting the movie Chaplin, Robert was reinvigorated and determined to take his career more seriously. So what he did as a gesture is he took the wardrobe from his breakout movie Less Than Zero in the 80s and buried it in his backyard because he wanted to shed his bad boy Brat Pack image.
À suivre, Robert Downey Jr. continue de jouer dans des films emblématiques des années 90, comme Only You ou Tournée, jusqu'à ce que sa vie bascule dans la drogue, ce qui le mènera plus d'une fois en prison. Avec l'aide de bons amis et d'Ally McBeal, il retombe sur ses pattes et se remarie. Robert Downey Jr. est né à New York de parents artistes, a étudié à l'étranger, a fait du théâtre, a eu une carrière de rôle romantique à Hollywood, est devenu ami avec Mel Gibson et a épousé Deborah Falconer.
What about you're a liar?
What about I was born to kiss you?
En 1994, il a joué dans une autre comédie romantique aux côtés de Marissa Tomei dans Only You.
He's got that cherubic devilish thing, both at once. That's exactly what character Peter has.
There's a darker edge to Robert, and I think this makes him a far more interesting actor and character. He's extremely charming. He can charm the pants off of anybody.
So many things have to happen for the two people who are meant to be together. You go, oh my God, thank God that she moved here when she did and that I wasn't there. Because if I'd met her then, I was with this and this wouldn't have happened. And you know what I mean? I mean, everything, you know?
Au deuxième semestre 1994, il a été choisi pour l'un des films les plus polémiques de la décennie, Tueur né d'Oliver Stone.
Robert later admitted that when he was shooting the movie Home for the Holidays with director Jodie Foster that he was using drugs. The funny thing was, his performance didn't seem to suffer too much for it. He's actually quite good in the movie. And the director, Jodie Foster, actually wrote him a note while they were shooting saying, "I'm not worried about you on this film, you're doing a great job, but I am worried that you think you're going to try to get away with this on the next film." And Robert said that he was always grateful to Jodie for taking the time to give him that wake-up call.
En avril 1996, il a été arrêté pour possession de stupéfiants et d'un Magnum 37 non chargé, alors qu'il était en excès de vitesse sur Sunset Boulevard. Ce sera la première de bien des arrestations et des problèmes avec la loi dans les années suivantes. Au milieu des problèmes de drogue, il a joué avec Heather Graham et Natasha Gregson Wagner dans la comédie dramatique Two Girls and a Guy.
Action. When Robert makes a movie that's not good, he's usually the first to admit it. He describes the 1998 action movie U.S. Marshals as possibly the worst action movie ever made. He said he did the movie because he wanted something that the kids could go see, and also he wanted to make a lot of money, but he later ended up regretting it and said he'd rather spend the day in jail than wake up and have to go to the set of U.S. Marshals.
Après une absence, un examen toxicologique en 1999, il a été arrêté une fois de plus et condamné à 3 ans de prison à la California Substance Abuse Treatment Facility and State Prison à Corcoran, en Californie. Lors de cette arrestation, tous ses projets de films étaient en boîte et bientôt projetés, sauf Prémonition de Neil Jordan qu'il a pu terminer.
From 1996 to about 2001 was when Robert's drug use was at its worst. He was arrested several times during that period for marijuana, cocaine, heroin. He relapsed, he went to rehab, he really struggled. And he actually had an interesting perspective on what he was going through. In 1999, he said to a judge about his addiction, "It's like I've got a loaded gun in my mouth with my finger on the trigger, and I like the taste of gunmetal."
Une semaine après sa libération anticipée, en 2000, il a rejoint la distribution de la série à succès Ally McBeal, incarnant l'intérêt romantique du personnage de Calista Flockhart. Sa prestation a été applaudie et l'année suivante, il a été nommé pour l'Emmy du meilleur acteur dans un second rôle dans une série télévisée comique et il a gagné le Golden Globe du meilleur acteur dans un second rôle dans une série, une mini-série ou un téléfilm.
Everyone was happy to see Robert Downey Jr. when he turned up on the TV show Ally McBeal. In fact, he even won a Golden Globe for the role. But off-screen, he was still struggling. He got arrested twice during the time he was on the show, and after the second time, in 2001, the creator, David E. Kelley, had to let him go.
Il est aussi apparu comme auteur et chanteur sur Vonda Shepard's Ally McBeal pour Once in My Life, et il a chanté en duo avec Sting sur Every Breath You Take pour un épisode de la série. En avril 2001, alors en probation, il a été arrêté une deuxième fois. Après cette arrestation, le producteur David E. Kelley et d'autres cadres d'Ally McBeal ont ordonné une réécriture et un retournage de dernière minute et l'ont retiré de la série, malgré le fait que son personnage avait ressuscité les audiences. Cette arrestation lui a aussi coûté un rôle dans le très en vue Couple de stars.
Robert played singer Elton John in a music video for Elton's song I Want Love. It was shot at Greystone Manor in Los Angeles, and it was one long take. The funny thing was that Robert was in rehab at the time, and they let him go for that one day to do the job.
Il a pu revenir au grand écran après que Mel Gibson, qui était son ami depuis Air America, a payé son assurance pour la comédie The Singing Detective en 2003.
Though Mel Gibson's had his share of controversies, Robert is always going to be loyal to Mel because Mel was there for Robert when no one else was. In 2003, Robert had just gotten sober and no film company would insure him, and Mel gave him a job in the film The Singing Detective. That started Robert's big turnaround, and he's never going to forget that Mel was there for him when no one else was.
En 2003, il a joué avec Holberry dans Gothica, le film d'horreur surnaturelle de Matthew Kassovitz.
The 2003 thriller Gothica was a mixed bag for Robert. On the minus side, there was one scene where he was supposed to grab Halle Berry's arm and twist it. Well, he twisted it too hard and she snapped her arm, and production was halted for 8 weeks. On the positive side, though, that's the movie where he met his wife, Susan. They quietly started a romance as the film was shooting, and they ended up together, and they actually started a production company in 2010 called Team Downey.
We're back and forth on each other's sets, or now more often than not, she's producing and I'm starring in things. And we're looking for stuff to do together that we're generating our own material. But I think the nice thing is when we just get to be doing what it is, which is the reason we love making movies anyways, because we love watching movies.
Suzanne Levy et lui sont très proches. Ils sont l'un des duos hollywoodiens les plus dynamiques qui mélangent le personnel et le professionnel.
I love you.
Yeah.
I love you.
Okay.
I love her. I want to work with her. That's what we do.
What we do takes so much time and energy that if we weren't doing it together, we'd never see each other, and we like to see each other.
Robert and Susan were married in August of 2005 in Amagansett, New York, and he really credits his wife for helping him turn his life around and stay on the straight and narrow.
He's the best. Absolutely.
You have good connections to him.
You know what? He's the only one I actually handle, so I don't have much comparison, and I think it should stay that way.
My God.
Love in these modern times, there'll be someone new every night.
Le 23 novembre 2004, il a sorti son premier album, The Futurist, chez Sony Classical.
The Futurist is really positive. Little Clowns has an upbeat message. I think You Fell in Love with a Broken Heart is on saying that, you know, there's no recourse, just it's telling the truth about that.
Not about you.
By the mid-2000s, Robert was starting to get his career back on track, but he was still losing opportunities because of his troubled background. Woody Allen revealed that he wanted to cast him and Winona Ryder in the movie Melinda and Melinda, but he couldn't get insurance for them, so that was another opportunity that Robert lost out on.
En 2005, il a retrouvé les premiers rôles en jouant avec Val Kilmer dans Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
The movie Kiss Kiss Bang Bang in 2005 was about second chances for almost everyone involved. The writer, Shane Black, hadn't had a hit in a while and had been struggling with writer's block. And then there were the co-stars, Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr., who both could have used a career jolt. And they actually got along very well. Val was so supportive of Robert's sobriety that he refused to drink the entire production.
À suivre, Robert Downey Jr. joue dans deux des franchises les plus rentables de l'histoire, Iron Man et Sherlock Holmes, et redevient connu. Robert Downey Jr. a eu beaucoup de problèmes de drogue dans les années 90, mais grâce à son amitié avec Mel Gibson et son deuxième mariage avec Suzanne Levin, il s'est relevé et s'est remis à travailler. Bien qu'applaudi pour sa carrière, Robert Downey Jr. n'avait jamais joué dans une super production. Ça a changé en 2008 avec Iron Man et Tonnerre sous les tropiques.
Before going into audition for Iron Man, Robert knew that it was an opportunity that could change his entire career. And he prepared feverishly. He memorized all of the lines, and he wanted to make sure that there was nobody that would do a better job in that audition than he did. He actually said there was one point during the screen test where he was so overcome with anxiety that he almost blacked out. He later said he watched it back and he saw the moment flick by on screen, but it just lasted a second, whereas in his head, it felt like it dragged out for days. In the movie Tropic Thunder, Robert played a self-involved method actor from Australia named Kirk Lazarus. And in the story, Kirk undergoes a controversial skin pigmentation procedure so he can play an African-American soldier.
Downey's, you know, who else could be that funny and also be taken seriously as an actor?
When they were making the movie, both Robert and the director Ben Stiller were concerned that audiences would think they were making some kind of racial statement, but ultimately everyone got that the joke was on self-involved method actors, and actually Robert ended up getting an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor.
What I think is endearing about Kirk Lazarus and Lincoln Osiris in Tropic Thunder is that there is no way that I could have read the script and said, it's Oscar time.
En 2009, il a joué avec Jamie Foxx dans Le Soliste de Joey Wright. Le film était tiré du livre de Steve Lopez.
After the lunacy of Tropic Thunder, Robert switched gears for the more intimate drama The Soloist. Now, it's set in downtown Los Angeles' homeless scene, and to get into character, he spent several months down there getting to know the people and researching, and he actually found that he had street cred because he had spent some time in jail. And there were people that he met there that was like, hey, I was in there with you, and he was like, I remember you, dude. And because of that, he was actually able to get the research he needed.
Action!
La même année, il a rejoint une autre franchise à succès. Guy Ritchie a donné la vie au personnage de Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Sherlock Holmes, dans un film éponyme où Downey jouait Sherlock et Jude Law incarnait le docteur John Watson.
I love making these movies with Rob. He is a creative maelstrom. He's hard to control. He's tumultuous. We have a love-hate relationship, but I do love making them with him.
When Robert picked up the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical for the film Sherlock Holmes, he was as surprised as everybody else. In fact, the first thing he said when he got up on stage is that, I'd like to thank my wife Susan for telling me at 10 o'clock this morning that Matt Damon was going to win, so I didn't prepare a speech.
He's such a sensational actor, and he commits completely to what he does, and he is so passionate about the parts he plays, and he is so devoted to giving the audience something great.
Run! Just run!
One more. You know, it wouldn't be bad. Let him do one. How do you say one more, please, in French? Encore, s'il vous plaît. I'm in the Grand Canyon. I'm somewhere between the Grand Canyon and home. I'll be there.
En 2010, il s'est associé au comique hollywoodien Zach Galifianakis pour la comédie de Todd Phillips, That Limit.
When he was promoting the comedy Due Date, Robert described the film's director Todd Phillips as a genius and his artistic soulmate. He also said they didn't get along very well when they were making the movie. He said if you had witnessed some of the heated arguments that they got into, that you wouldn't even believe they were still talking to each other, let alone good friends.
Robert's really eloquent in real life, and his character's very eloquent. And in real life, Robert insults me when we're not working eloquently, and it's a little bit like the movie. He insulted me the other day in front of 45 extras, told me I needed to work on my acting. And I had to tell everybody that he was joking, even though I don't know if he was.
No, we're here to get money. Let's just get out of here. I'm not going to go through this with you. Good.
He'll no longer be party to my investigations.
Il a retrouvé Sherlock Holmes en 2011 avec Sherlock Holmes, Jeu d'ombre.
What I enjoy most about the Sherlock Holmes movies that we're making is that you get a sense of you think you're really feeling something about these people, and I don't see that enough just in general in movies nowadays. So the fact that we can bring a little bit of it into kind of a commercial movie, it's immensely satisfying for me.
For one scene in the Sherlock Holmes sequel, A Game of Shadows, Robert turned himself into a woman, and he said that he was disappointed that he didn't look prettier. He said that he thought he looked like a cross between Robert Smith, the lead singer of The Cure, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's dwarf brother.
Everything's fine. C'est au sujet de son frère.
In 2012, Robert became a father again when his wife Susan gave birth to a son, Exton Elias Downey. And now we know who gets to play with all those Iron Man figures. Though Robert's been nominated for an Oscar twice, for Chaplin and Tropic Thunder, he's never taken home a trophy, but he knows he will someday. He told one interviewer that he's going to get him one of those Oscars, even if it's when he's really old.
Next interrogator.
Since cleaning up his act and getting sober, Robert Downey Jr. has had probably the biggest comeback in Hollywood history. In fact, he topped Forbes' list of the highest earning actors. He earned $75 million between June 2012 and June 2013.
Tonnerre sous les tropiques était un film unique, décroché grâce à Ben Stiller. Iron Man est devenu une franchise qui a ouvert des portes pour Robert, comme la suite en 2010, Iron Man 2, Avengers en 2012 et Iron Man 3 en 2013. Iron Man est devenu l'une des franchises les plus rentables de l'histoire.
It's a little hard to believe, but Iron Man 2 was actually Robert Downey Jr.'s first sequel. And because of that, he took it more seriously than almost any role he'd done, because he knew the expectations out there were so huge and he didn't want to let the fans down.
Robert Downey Jr. a eu des hauts et des bas, mais grâce à ses amis et ses efforts, il a pu remonter en selle et avoir l'une des carrières les plus prospères d'Hollywood. Robert Downey Jr. est l'enfant prodigue chéri du monde du spectacle.
I want to thank the fans who I can't see. I don't know if you're really devoted or you're insane standing across the street right now. In a career that's had more dips than a French sandwich shop,